All right, guys, here we go. First fire in the new smoker. Got some charcoal, a couple starters. I normally like to use tumbleweeds, but I gave my last half box to the guy who sold me on smoker too, so we're using some just good old-fashioned campfire starters. I'm not cooking with this. I'm just getting this as hot as I can and getting it burned in. All right, got a decent coal bed. First couple logs going in. I'm not gonna cut these down. I'm just gonna let these decent sized splits kick off. Like I said, we're not going for super controlled. We're going for as hot as we can get it right now. Anybody that's done a lot of wood smoking's got tons of bark laying around. This is a great time to use it. All right, fire cleaned up a bunch. Running pretty hot now. Let's go. First time the gauges are moving. Got a little over 150. About 185. So as it sits now, about 25-degree split from top to bottom. It's exactly what you would expect. All right, so we got her up to temp. Pretty much pegged out the gauges there. Say 25-degree split all the way from 100 degrees to 475 from top to bottom rack. Warming box, and it got to about 300, 325, and it's calming back down to about 225-ish now, 220. So we're gonna lock everything down and give it just minimal flow, and we're gonna see how long it holds heat. All right, guys, here it is. So I let it sit for 30 minutes. We lost about 15 degrees in the main chamber. Now, after that, I opened up the inlet of the warming box from the bottom of the warming box about halfway, and I opened up the top dampener about the same, about halfway. I got the warming box up to, I think it's right at 250. Yep, sitting right at 250 right now. And we're gonna do it again. Now everything's locked down, and we'll see how long the warming box and the chamber stay right around that 250 mark. Just to be clear, as it sits now, doing this insulation test, there is no live fire. We're only down to a coal bed. We've got no flames, so we're just relying on residual heat and the insulation in the firebox. All right, guys, here we go. I'm gonna call this the 2-split test. We're putting these 2 small splits on, and you can see where our temperature's at. We're about 240. Basically running this like I would if it was a brisket, and I'm targeting 275. All right, from a coal bed, 2 small splits on the notch there, wide open up there. There we are, 275. All right, guys, it is now 245. So we have let this sit, it's been just over an hour. And when we stopped touching anything, locked it all down, it was at 275. Let me show you where it's at. 248. 215. 205, give or take. When we stopped this, it was at 300, and now it's at 225. So in about an hour and some change, we dropped about 50 degrees, give or take, 50 to 75. All right, guys, before I get on to the biscuit test, I'm gonna wrap up just kind of my first initial burn thoughts. Everything went really well. The slide action on the warming box did get real sticky, just with some heat. Everything kind of started to expand, and all the cosmoline that's on that new metal. So I might have to make a couple little adjustments there so that slides in and out when it gets hot. But other than that, the 2-split test, I'm gonna call it, I went from, what was it, 240 to 275, and it held 275. It probably crept up closer to 300 as the energy of those last two splits kind of started to die off. And then I just let it sit, and we went back down to right around 200 degrees in about an hour, maybe it was an hour and 15, I think, maybe. But it's 3 o'clock now, and I just want to wrap it up. Those are my initial thoughts. Quality is great, burn control is great, and now we're on to the biscuit test.